It was yet again another fantastic trading week for myself and the members. Now let's get right into this week's Forex Forecast. Alright, on to the forecast for the DXY. Let's begin with the dollar here. So just want to remind you guys about this daily chart here. We have a picture perfect daily trend. I wouldn't quite say we are overextended here, but you can clearly see, a very large move up, in the last couple weeks there. So just want to point out this daily trend. Things are looking strong. We do right now we are reacting off of this little rally-based rally area. This is not a zone that I had on my chart. Based on how I do my chain analysis, the members will know what I'm talking about, but it is a little single candle basing rally-based rally, and we are reacting off of that at this time. You can see with this very, very green candle here. And the next question that I have for you guys, and basically for myself and for my entire analysis, is are we going to break above this high on the weekly chart? And that high is located at about 107.5, maybe a little bit lower. I don't know the exact price, 107.35. And why I'm curious about that is because that would create a weekly trend to the upside. And I noticed there is a pretty decent weekly supply above, up here at 110.66. You can see it removed demand, very, very strong move away. The basing isn't the best, but it is supply, and we are basically looking to fill in that gap. Now, obviously, it's not crazy to suggest that if we do break above this high, that it's a sign that we could be pushing back up to that supply zone. But why I'm worried about that is because if we do, then we'll have a weekly trend to the upside, and it's even higher odds that we will go up to that. Now, I will say, let's say this week we get, a very bullish green candle here on the DXY on the weekly chart, a very, very large move up on the weekly chart, and we do break that high. Be careful. We could spike above and spike back below, kind of stop everyone out here. But ultimately, I think that would be a bullish sign. And even if we do see some manipulation like that, I think we will probably be headed back up to the 110 area. So as long as this daily trend is holding, I think things are looking pretty good. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we had a demand zone down at the 105.39 area. I've been pointing that zone out for a while now. We just barely missed it. I don't really want to call it tested. I don't really want to also say I think we could pull it back down and hit it again. So it's a little bit confusing. So since we've pretty much reacted off of it already, the next thing I'll be looking for is the removal of this supply zone, which would remove that high and give us a new trend line here as well. So really all signs are pointing to the upside here on the DXY. If you go to the 1-hour chart, we had a downward trend line here. It didn't last too long, and we did break momentum, pushed to the upside. We removed a proven supply zone that was tested twice, which left us with a demand at 105.83 on the 1-hour chart. So I think we could see a little bit of downward pressure in the dollar maybe the next couple days, pushing down into this 1-hour demand zone. But ultimately, I do think this demand zone will hold, maybe spike below just a little bit. It's not the best demand zone I've ever seen, but I think it will hold. And why? Why do I think it's going to hold? Well, because the daily trend is up. That's why I am favoring that demand zone. So even if we do pull back a little bit on the DXY and the dollar, don't worry, we have the demand zone there, and we are looking to see that reaction off that demand zone to continue with that overall daily trend to hopefully create that weekly trend and push back up to the 110, 111 area on that weekly chart. On to the forecast for the euro. And real quick, if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video. All likes help because all ad revenue generated from these weekly Forex forecast videos is donated to my local hospice, which helps people at the end of life. It means a lot to me. So every like helps, guys. Let's get more ad revenue and more views for this video so that we can donate all of that revenue. So on the daily chart here, we are into daily supply. I wasn't looking great so far. It was looking great a bit, and then we pushed aggressively into the zone. We almost removed it, but now we are seeing a red candle there on the daily chart, and it's more evident here on the 1-hour chart. So we did get a confirmation here. And what I mean by confirmation is it removed this upward trend line. So when we hit daily supply, we usually want to look for a 1-hour confirmation, and we pretty much got it. So there is a little 1-hour supply zone located at 1.07. It is not the best supply zone I've ever seen. The basing isn't fantastic, but it is a confirmation trade. So we could see a move off of that supply and at least get a move down to the 1.06 area. That is what I'd be looking at here on the euro, and that is as we come off of that daily supply. So our higher time frame analysis here, which is very, very important with supply and demand trading, is currently playing out where, okay, why did we spike? Why did we drop from here? Well, because we were sitting inside of a daily supply zone. So our higher time frames are showing us that we should be looking for shorts. It's also with the trend, and this would be our little 1-hour confirmation. If you are not loving, and also you can also wait for the zone to be hit and look for extra confirmation on either a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart as well. Both of these will also be fine. And if you are a little bit want to be a little bit more conservative, which usually I am, I noticed this 4-hour demand zone right here. This demand zone was responsible for taking out supply, and it was tested once, twice, 3 times. So this is what we like to call a proven demand zone. And why I like proven zones, and what I mean by proven is the fact that it reacted off of it. It means a lot when it's removed. So if we do remove this 4-hour demand zone, any 4-hour supply would be your 4-hour confirmation, which in theory, it's harder to get, but it's a lot safer in my opinion. So there's 2 options here on the euro as far as that goes. And I'm pretty bearish here on the euro. And look, I could be wrong. We could, looking at this daily chart again, we could be wrong. We could spike up above, break the downward trend line. But look, guys, when we have a trend line like this and a downward trend that's looking very, very good, we have a daily supply zone, we pretty much got to go with it. There's no way I'm going to be looking for longs at this point. I would happily lose these trades and just accept that I've lost and accept that, hey, maybe this is a time for a trend change. But in the meantime, we have a daily supply zone in control, so we definitely, want to be favoring shorts, and there's a ton of options. Remember, guys, any questions, do not hesitate to ask. All right, on to the forecast for gold, XAUUSD. So just want to point out the weekly chart here. We are pretty overextended now. However, that does not mean we are due for a pullback. A lot of guys like to look at the RSI or whatever it's called. I don't look at any of that. I just look at demand zones, follow trends. But I will admit, this is almost a 90-degree angle up. Now, there is a weekly demand zone at 22.19. I think it's very possible we do pull back to that weekly demand zone because I do think gold will be going much higher. But, the banks and institutions might want to push price back down to get more orders filled in down here, longs, and push up off of that. So if you are bearish, this is our long-term target down here. Now, remember, it is counter trend. So I'm not super favoring short trades here on gold, but this would be our weekly demand zone, and I'm really, really hoping we can get a pullback down to that weekly zone. Now, on the 4-hour chart, this is pretty much what we are going off of here. So on the 4-hour chart right here, you can clearly see this 4-hour demand zone right here. I am long from that 4-hour demand zone right now, and this is a zone that we pointed out in the daily market breakdown videos for the Diamond members. If you guys want access to these basically daily forecasts like I'm doing here, but throughout the week, because I can't always do all the analysis throughout the week for you guys on YouTube, check out the Diamond membership. Links in the description down below. We have Sunday Zoom sessions, the daily market breakdown videos, video lessons, Discord group, and much, much more. So check it out. We'll be happy to see all of you traders join the team. We also have lifetime access. But for now, I am long here on gold. My stops are in the green. We are being hesitated around this 4-hour supply at 23.51. I was also telling members to be careful about this zone as well. So we could be looking for shorts as we come off of that supply on day trading timeframes only. And why do I say that? Because there's not really a downward trend here. I guess momentum would be considered down, but it's not looking fantastic for shorts. And remember, it is a counter trend trade because of the weekly trend up. So if you want to short, this would be the best opportunity day trading short in here. And what I mean by best opportunity is when it's counter trend, this is pretty much the best you could look for. So if you guys didn't get in long down here, if you're not a member, that's okay. If you didn't get along down here, a new opportunity will be forming if we break this supply zone. So if you break this supply zone, any 4-hour demand zone there, we'll be looking for longs inside of that 4-hour demand zone, just like we did down here. Remember, if this happens on a Wednesday or a Thursday or this Tuesday, something like this, and we have a new 4-hour zone, I'll be in the daily market breakdown videos pointing it out to the members as well. So that is the benefit of that. Basically, I'm looking for this to be removed. I am not short from this area. I'm letting my long trade work out. Hopefully, I can add to my position here by removing that supply there on gold. On to the forecast for the USDJPY, the Japanese yen. Just want to start out with the weekly chart here. Remember, guys, we removed this high. All signs are really pointing to the upside here. Beautiful weekly uptrend here on the USDJPY. Now, it is a different story in the lower time frames. I'm going to show you guys, but we are seeing a lot of bullishness here in the USDJPY. Even if we do get a very large retracement back to the 150 area, we have a couple weekly zones here that are going to act kind of as support. Support not in the sense of support and resistance, but like support as in demand to kind of hold up price. So really not concerned if we do see those pullbacks. And the nearest area that I'm looking at here as far as the 1-hour chart goes is this little 1-hour demand zone here at 157.79. So if we do get a pullback down here, it's decent. It's not amazing, but we could see maybe a small move off of this 1 hour demand zone at the 157.79 area. Could be an area where you go onto your 5-minute time frame or the 1-minute time frame, look for confirmation in here on those day trading time frames to look for long trades. I think it's fine, and the reason I'm saying that is because the trends are up here. So you don't even have to wait for this zone really for longs. At any point, you could be looking for longs on the 1-minute or the 5-minute time frame, depending on how you trade. I just think the highest odds thing to do is to actually wait for that 1 hour demand zone. And if not, let's say we get an even deeper pullback. There is a 4 hour demand zone right here at the 156.82 area that I just drew here. So we could even see a bigger retracement back to the 156 area. Nice move off that 4 hour demand zone. Why this 4 hour demand zone? Well, it's a nice little rally single candle basing demand zone, and it is decent and it is with the trend. So when we have a weekly and a daily trend, we're pretty much looking to buy pullbacks to the long side on all time frames pretty much. So this is why I like this 4 hour demand zone. If you don't feel comfortable, straight up just buying the zone with a stop loss below, I get it. You could just look for day trading confirmation here, and you could actually add the 15-minute demand zone confirmation in here as well, instead of just the 5-minute and the 1-minute chart. So I actually would stick to the 15-minute off of this 4 hour demand zone. But really, guys, all signs are pointing to the upside. If we look at a 4 chart layout here, I mean, do you really want to be shorting this? I personally don't. It's very counter trend. It doesn't mean you can't short. It doesn't mean that counter trend setups aren't valid. It just means it's lower odds, and there's obviously more profit margin to be made on the long side. So even if you look at a daily chart here, I mean, yes, there was some moves down in price here, but the most money was made to the upside here. That's why I prefer to always be trading with the trends. So hopefully you guys can take a look at those demand zones that I pointed out. I think they're decently high odds zones that we could definitely see moves off of. So that is the USDJPY. All right, on to the GBPUSD. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the GBPUSD. So my thoughts are, we have a daily supply zone above at the 1.26 area. I think it's possible we do retrace back up to there. I'm not really seeing any evidence of that just yet, but I just want to say if we do see some strength in the pound, I wouldn't be too concerned about shorts because we do have that supply above. We could see a move off of that daily supply zone. Just wanted to do this this higher time frame analysis first before we continue on. Now, similar to the euro, we had that trend line confirmation here on the 1 hour chart, except for there's really no daily supply, but we are currently seeing a reaction off of that supply zone. So you could be looking for 5-minute day trading confirmation or even 1-minute day trading confirmation as we come off of this 1 hour supply zone at the 1.25 area. I think it is definitely decent. And let's say we do push up, we break this 1 hour supply. I don't really think that's that big of a concern until we can actually remove this overall 4 hour supply zone here at the 1.2537 area. So we have a beautiful little base drop supply zone with a very nice move away. So far, we are getting a nice move off of that supply. So you could actually be looking for 15-minute confirmation on the lower time frames here, looking for shorts off of that. So definitely a few options here. On the pound, it's looking pretty decent for potential short trades, and that's pretty much it. I'm not going to confuse you guys anymore. And like I said, if we do start to break above the 1 hour supply, even the 4 hour supply, let's say it doesn't hold, well, we have that daily supply above that we need to get through first, and I actually think we'll probably react off of that supply to the downside. So it's really day trading shorts all the way here on the GBPUSD. No need to confuse you guys other than that. On to the forecast for the USDCAD, the country that I am from. So just want to point out the weekly chart here. It is pretty bad. It's very sideways. There's really no direction. I will say that the overall momentum is technically up from looking from back here, but just look at how bad this price action is. This is why I haven't taken a trade in the USDCAD in quite a long time. Now we do, in my opinion, I would call this a daily uptrend. It's more of daily momentum in my opinion, but the analysis doesn't get super clear until we get on the 4 hour chart. Actually, let's look at the 1 hour chart first. You can clearly see we have a 1 hour downtrend. So to keep it simple with you guys, this 1 hour downtrend means on a 5-minute chart and maybe even a 1-minute chart, I would stick to mostly the 5-minute chart. As long as this downward trend line is holding, you could be looking for day trades on that 5-minute time frame. So to repeat, as long as this trend line is holding, if we push up to here, we react off it to the downside, you get a little 5-minute supply zone here. You could look for shorts on this time frame as long as we don't break above that 1 hour downward trend line. And the good thing is we have profit margin all the way down to the 1.35 area. Looking at this 4-hour chart, there's really no trend here. Yes, the momentum is down. This is more of a 1-hour downtrend rather than a 4-hour downtrend, but we do have a clear demand zone down at the 1.358 area, and I think if you are day trading short, this would be our profit target down to this 4-hour demand zone, and at that point, you could even switch to a potential long trade. So still plenty of room to the downside here to fill in all this space. So like I said, 1-hour downward trend line, could be trading short and long-term profits down to the 1.358 area. And if you do get a beautiful trade off a 5-minute supply zone, I don't really recommend trying to hold all the way down to here. I would at least, maybe take 75% off at whatever you like to look for, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. I'm usually looking for 5 to 1s, and then maybe since we have identified clear profit target down to the 1.35 area, let's say you're sitting about here, maybe just let 25% of the trade run down to this profit target and then start to tighten up your stops, or at least bump your stop loss down as price moves down if you do get in short. Because remember, we want to lock in profits as well, but also it's a fine line of locking in profits and letting the trade breathe. So just wanted to point out the profit margin there, and like I said, beautiful 1-hour downtrend. This is pretty much picture perfect. As long as that trend line is holding, guys, it's day trading shorts all the way. All right, on to the forecast for the AUDUSD. So just want to point out this beautiful daily downward trend line. Now, yes, we are seeing some bullish price action here, but this overall trend line is still holding. So as long as this trend line is holding, we could be looking for shorts on the AUDUSD. Now, on the 1-hour chart, we did catch a beautiful 1-hour demand zone trade off of the zone at 0.64. At this 1-hour demand zone, 5 to 1 pretty much hit right there. So looking pretty good. Demand zones being respected here in my opinion. So things are really looking good. Now remember, we do have that daily downtrend, so this was all counter trend, but I mean, look at the demand zone there. Beautiful rally base rally. Couldn't really, help ourselves off of that one. So anyways, to continue to trade with the daily downtrend, we need to at least see this 1-hour trend removed. So if we do break the trend line like this, hopefully these supply as well, leaving us with the demand. If we left with a 1-hour supply zone there, we could look for shorts off of that supply to trade with that overall daily downward trend line. So this is what I'll be looking for on the 1-hour chart for shorts. Now, obviously, it would be best to get both of these removed, but honestly, if we just remove this one and the trend line, that's going to be good enough, in my opinion, on the AUDUSD. Now, if you are bullish, which I'm not super bullish, although that was a good little 1-hour demand zone, we do have a decent 4-hour zone down at the 0.46 area. If we do push down to there, it removed a supply zone, not a proven supply, but it was a supply zone. We could see maybe a small move off of this 4-hour demand zone, but this is also our profit target, at least down to this area at 0.46. Now, if we do continue to go down, I think we will break the lows here based on the daily downward trend line, but this would be like our midterm profit target, because I do think, maybe we won't see a massive move off of the zone, but it could be good for day trading longs, maybe get like a 2 to 1 trade, something like this, creating that downtrend. But there is, there's money to be made in this little rally right there. So just wanted to point out this 4-hour demand zone. If you are bullish, that is really the only zone that I'm seeing down there at that point. So things are looking pretty good in the Aussie here. We just need to, look, if you want to be day trading long this one, it's not bad. Just remember, we are approaching the trend line on the daily chart, and we could start to rally to the downside again, and it's going to be very visible on the 1-hour chart if we do, start to drop here on the Aussie. All right, on to the USDCHF. So looking at the weekly chart here first, we did remove that downward trend line, left us with a weekly zone. Not really seeing any evidence. We will pull back down here, but if we do fill in this gap, our profit target would be to the 0.8 area at this weekly demand zone. So, but really all signs are pointing to the upside. Onto the daily chart, we have trend line holding here. Daily zones holding, not a good daily zone, but look, we went right back into it. But honestly, guys, this has not really been one I've been looking to trade, in my opinion. If you look at a 1-hour chart, it's pretty horrible, in my opinion. Just a lot of sideways action. Not very clear, not really any good zones. The only thing we have going for it is, in fact, that daily trend to the upside. So look, if we do push up, break this high here, and get a nice push up, leaving us with a zone on any time frames there, we could look for longs here on the USD Swiss, but honestly, guys, it's not looking great. Yes, the overall trend is up, but look at this pretty bad sideways action. We really want to see a nice breakout to the upside, giving us a nice little 4-hour zone here. Maybe we could look for longs at, but that's pretty much it. Even this, good little demand zone here, but look at this wick. It's pretty bad price action, way too wicky, way too sideways for me, and you know that's why I have not really been trading the USD Swiss. So you just need some more clear price action. Like the price action is pretty clear on the weekly and the daily. The issue is really the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart. So once we get some clear zones on the USD Swiss, you know, then we can maybe add this back to our trading list here on the USD Swiss. All right, last but not least, we are on to crude oil. We are the weekly supply is in control at the 87.25. The reason I'm not super concerned about it is because look how tested this supply was. Pretty much wicked through it as well. I don't call it remove, but you know it's very, very tested. But it doesn't mean we won't see another reaction off of it, and we clearly did the last couple weeks. Now remember, on the daily chart, I would still say this trend line is holding, in my opinion. This trend, I don't have a trend line here, but I would say this trend is overall holding. If we really break below this again, then at that point, I think our analysis has to change. But really, all signs are pointing to the upside here. Now, on the 4-hour chart, we are getting a move off this 4-hour supply. Again, look at this price action, just pretty bad. So if you are bearish, if you think that overall daily trend is going to change, as long as this 4-hour supply is holding at 84 to 82, we could be looking for shorts on the day trading time frames, like a 15-minute and a 5-minute chart. So if you do think, again, we're going to go down, this is pretty much our higher time frame supply. If you're a day trader, where you could look for shorts off of that. And if you think that the daily trend is going to continue up, which, you know, I think it kind of is, in my opinion, you could be actually day trading long. That's pretty much what I would be doing, in my opinion. I don't really day trade, so I don't really do that, guys. But look at this 1-hour trend. It is pretty good. So we could be looking for longs off of that zone right there. I think that, or as long as this trend line is holding, we could be. And even if we break the trend line, there's a little zone at 83.35 on the 1-hour chart, little drop base rally. We could be looking for longs off of that. Confirmation on a 5-minute, even a 1-minute time frame could be good if we do push down to that 1-hour zone. So again, at least we have a 1-hour trend. The next thing we want to see, like the safest thing for longs would be actually to remove this 4-hour supply. And if we have a 4-hour demand zone there, then boom, we could look for longs off of that zone. But that'll be probably, if that happens, that'll be in the daily market breakdown videos for the members. And hopefully it does, because, you know, we want to be continuing to trade with this overall daily momentum and trend here on crude oil. And if you guys want to watch the full length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.